Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Although, is it a belated birthday if I actually said to you happy birthday to you on your birthday? I'm just also saying it the day after.
Yeah, but you never said it on my birthday.
I did.
I know.
Oh.
I think you wrote me like just after midnight.
Yeah, I wrote you, and then I also wrote a birthday post to you in the patrons group.
It was very touching.
Was it?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because you didn't say anything on it.
I loved it.
Like, I love you too, Christian, anything like that.
I loved it.
Okay.
You know, you got to manage people's expectations. I can't just be responding with words to everybody.
So you are now 47, which I have been 47 for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
A little bit less than 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And we're the same age again.
Yeah. Yay.
Good times.
Yeah. I feel like I can relate to you again.
Dude, how old were you?
I don't look at you as like my dad anymore.
I think you were 41 when we started the podcast, right?
Well, did we start in August?
We started in August of 2014.
So you were the same age as I was in August. And every August we're the same age.
Yeah. So we were both 41.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And we're 47 now.
Dude, it's a long time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Life's just slipping by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was your birthday? Was it good?
It was great.
You had to work, so.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I mean, just had a good day. Work was good. I got out of there early.
Yeah.
And hung out with you, and then we went to Affinity's Irish Pub, and then Janie showed up.
Which we haven't been to together for
a long time.
Years.
Yeah, it was good. And today we did a little shopping and had
Oh, yeah, you went clothes shopping.
Clothes shopping.
Did you get anything?
Yeah, but it was like, we had no time. You know, because by the time we were going to do 2 other things first. We didn't do either of them because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Then we had about an hour.
You guys were having sex a bunch, and then you got delayed because of that.
And then the midgets,
and then
the order of
Venezuelan
midgets came late,
yeah.
and so we had to refasten the harnesses to the ceiling. It's a whole thing.
You had to tie people back up to the radiator in the basement.
And once you untie them, they're all like, and then you got to tie them back.
Yeah,
up.
They want to get out.
It's like I feel bad, you know,
just
but it's
go
like,
back where you belong.
Know your place.
You've been there for years. Just you know the drill.
You know what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it was a good day.
Nice.
Yeah, had some fish and chips at the Nordstrom Grill.
Oh, that place is pretty fancy.
Yeah,
it's good, tasty.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've eaten there a couple times.
Yeah, I never knew it was there.
Yeah. They have like a bar too, like a full-on bar.
Yeah, it's a full bar and restaurant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do I look haggard? A little haggard.
Yeah, maybe a little.
When I was looking at on the monitor, I was like, "Oh God, I kind of have circles in my eyes and stuff." Mm-hmm. Well, I had surgery on Thursday, as you know.
Yes.
But our listeners don't know yet.
Because we haven't even, dude, have we even done a podcast since the cruise?
No.
Oh
so much has happened since because we took a week off. We had the one we recorded.
Show him your hand.
And then Dan
Look at his
Coates
hands.
interview.
Look at that. You see his hands?
Well, now they can't see my hand because you started talking. Hold on. Hello. Okay, this is my hand. Here we go.
Freaking cyborg.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm more machine than man now.
Twisted and evil.
Yeah. I mean, I do have like a bunch of metal in my body right now. I have the ring that they use to repair my heart valve.
Is your butt plug made of metal, or is that like plastic?
No, it's plastic.
Okay, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, BPA free though.
Okay.
And then I have the loop recorder that they put in like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, which is in my chest, and that transmits my heartbeats to a monitoring service that checks to see if I have atrial fibrillation or not.
That's what they tell you it does.
I know.
All it really does is monitor your every step.
It is cool though, because you can like feel it.
That does not sound cool.
And then I jacked up my wrists the night before the cruise, which was 3 weeks ago, and then or 2.5 weeks ago, I guess. Wait,
doesn't matter.
No, it was like 3.5 weeks ago. No, 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh,
we'll figure it out. Hold on.
No,
let me get my calendar.
While you nail this down exactly, because people are waiting with bated breath, because it matters to the story how long
it was.
Ago
it was a little over 2.5 weeks ago, and so I've had this thing on for this big splint, for those who can't see it, through the entire cruise. And the worst is like walking onto a ship with 4,000 people you don't know that you're going to be in an intimate setting with for a week, because every single person, every elevator ride, every poker table I sat down at, every waiter, oh, what happened?
You're like, I punched a guy for asking too many questions.
Right.
That's what happened.
And so then anyway, I'll explain what happened in a minute, but I got back from the cruise, and then last Thursday, which was February 6th, they did surgery. So we got back on Saturday. I went to the doctor on Monday. He scheduled surgery for Thursday, and now I've got a bunch of pens in my wrist and my hand. So I literally have like metal in 3 different places, or metal or prosthetic devices at 3 different places in my body right now.
Yeah. Dude, it's
because of the podcast. When I started the podcast, I didn't have any.
But I still don't have anything. I don't have other than like fillings from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm all organic, baby, 100%. I'm like the guy in the Matrix, those 2 brothers, Tank and Dozer.
Right.
Born here, like, freeborn, no plugs.
But I haven't. I've been on pain meds because I wasn't supposed to do a lot with the wrist after surgery. Who knew? But I have been doing a lot with it. And like today,
You're doing a lot of one-armed push-ups with your left arm.
Well, just like,
which is not smart.
Just like cleaning the bedroom or something. I should be resting, but I'm not. Probably because I'm on pain meds, and I'm like, oh, I feel good. I'm gonna go do stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I look haggard to those people watching on YouTube,
yeah,
that's partly why. Plus, when I jacked up my wrist, I landed with my face first.
Yeah.
And you can still see like a little bit right here, I think, and up here.
You can still see up there. This one.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. It's just red.
Yeah. I was all
on the cruise. It was a big scab.
Yeah, I was all bloodied, and then the inside of my lip got all cut up when I hit the ground.
Dude, you've hit the ground a lot lately.
Yeah, because
I'm surprised you haven't just shattered into a million pieces.
Well, I haven't because I have extremely strong bones.
Do you though?
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you said something about the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor remarked. The doctor when he did the surgery that day said I have extremely strong bones and ligaments.
Huh.
So it took excessive force to like put everything back in place.
So you're not like those inbred Irish with their bird bones, and their soft skull, and brown blood.
No. Oh. Anyway, I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Just try not to, you're giving us a bit of a scare lately.
Yeah, I know.
Cut it out.
So yeah, we had the cruise, had surgery. You've had a birthday, and here we are on February 11th.
And I'm going to Jack's. We're going to Jack's tonight to have some more birthday celebrations with Janie and the crew over there. I
haven't eaten at Jack's I ate with you and Larry.
Yeah, Overstreet,
a few months ago.
Yeah.
But all I had was Brussels sprouts because they don't have anything that's plant-based at Jack's.
Yeah.
Even the Brussels sprouts have dressing you have to like have them hold because it's not plant-based. But then it's like
what kind of
the
dressing
only thing
comes
I
on
like
these?
about the Brussels
Chicken
sprouts.
broth?
Yeah. The only thing I like about the Brussels sprouts is the dressing. As soon as you take the dressing out, I don't even like the Brussels sprouts anymore.
You don't like Brussels sprouts.
I know. I only like them if I like saute them with bacon fat and put salt and pepper on them.
Right, which would be true of anything that you sauteed in.
The problem is that's exactly how you eat your steak.
With what?
You eat it like fried in some kind of sauce with salt and pepper on it, and then you like it. Like if you just had a steak, somebody just cooked you just a steak. You don't get to marinate it. You don't get to put salt and pepper on it. Like you wouldn't like it.
No, I'd still like it. I just wouldn't like it as much.
You wouldn't like it very much, I don't think. Just plain beef, if it tasted just like cow without any marinade or anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think you'd be like, I'm not really into it.
I think I'd love it. So there, I guess we're at a standstill.
I'm just saying there's a lot of things you eat that are just like Brussels sprouts in that they don't taste that great of themselves, but you add some butter and salt.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing.
Speaking of putting stuff on stuff.
Yeah.
Lee Phoenix is Joaquin Phoenix, his Oscar speech.
I still haven't heard it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so touching. That guy's like genuine and a beautiful soul.
I like him. I mean, I liked his speech at Golden Globes too.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't think I saw that one.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I haven't had a chance to watch the Oscars yet. How crazy is that?
I know stuff. Like the other day I said something last night and you're like, oh, so I guess he won Best Actor. I'm like, no shit. How do you not know this?
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it.
I mean, I think for 11 years I've been having an Oscar party.
Yeah.
And this is the first year that I haven't even gotten to watch the Oscars yet.
Wow, the attendee must have been so disappointed. Only one person comes to.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing is that Kim usually it's Kim and my Oscar party. But this time I thought I'm going to hear from her soon saying, are we doing the Oscar party soon?
Yeah.
And I never did. So maybe it's just over now.
Yeah.
We've done it for 10 years and maybe it's just over.
Yeah. She's been trying to find some way to tell you for like 8 years.
Yeah.
If I was like, I'm just going to ghost him and see what happens.
It could also be because the Oscars were 3 weeks earlier than normal this year.
Really?
So it could be that she just wasn't even expecting for them to be on the air yet.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And Kobe died.
And Kobe died while on the cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, because you celebrate rapists.
Hey,
Jason's not ready to joke around about this yet.
Alleged rapists.
Yeah, it happened on the cruise. Michael told me, and you were at the bar getting a drink, and I was like, I've got to text Jason before he comes over here because I knew you were going to be pretty broken up about it. And the last place you want to find out about something like that is in front of a group of people.
But it's like I'm first of all, I don't have internet on the cruise, and I'm not. So in the 30 seconds I was gone, I didn't check my texts. So I didn't. I got that text after I knew about it.
I know.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Christian.
I'm Jason.
And this is Drunk Ass Pastors. So we do have a new patron. We have a donation,
Nice.
a new patron, and 2 patrons that upped their pledges.
Boom.
Just to keep the mood elevated, I did not check to see if anybody canceled their pledges. You know, Scott Bolin sent a donation. Did you see it?
I think was it a little while ago?
Yeah, because we haven't done a podcast in a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything
So
recent.
he sent us a message. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It was like $20-something or
Nice.
something. But he said, I bought Misfit Faith from a used bookstore at a deeply discounted rate. Guilt has gotten the best of me, and I decided to send you the listed cost with tax. I blame these types of compulsions on my Baptist upbringing. It was all I could do not to pay you back $183.96. Proverbs 6:31. There's a lot to unpack here. Dick Bush out.
Huh. I did not see that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad he bought the book.
Yeah.
You know, even if it was a used copy.
Yeah. And then Lisa S. is our new patron.
Nice.
And then both Dan Houthuft and Iriana Mickelson upped their pledges
Thank you,
through
guys.
Patreon.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. If you want to become a patron, you can do it at patreon.com/drunkxpastors.
And you become, you get to be a part of the DXP Patrons group on Facebook, which is, by all accounts, a rip-roaring, wild and good fun time.
Yeah, it's the best time that can be had on Facebook,
Yeah.
especially on Wednesdays, according to the majority of our patrons who,
Wednesdays are sex days.
yeah, we don't know how it happened, hump day maybe,
Yeah.
but we just sit and watch, and it's like we're just proud of our children and all their sex
It's
memes.
just a big jizz bath.
They hold them till Wednesday. They come across sex memes and then wait until Wednesday so they can post them all.
Yeah. And then somebody will be like, I know it's only Tuesday, but I couldn't wait. And then everyone's like, fuck, man, I had that one on deck too, but now I can't share it.
So funny. Anyway, we're going to do a shot for our patrons and our donation.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
I'll reach over to you.
I'll reach around here. Boom.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is BSB, right?
See, wasn't that big?
Oh, that's good.
That's the 103.
Yeah.
Burning, huh?
It's burning my mouth. Dude, you see this Bieber thing?
Oh, the Lyme disease thing?
Little fucker.
I saw your post on it, but I haven't watched the video on YouTube yet.
So now this little fucker wants a bunch of sympathy because he's a recovering drug addict with Lyme's disease and Epstein-Barr.
Jason, isn't that what Brian Broderson has?
Yeah, dude, isn't it weird? Epstein-Barr, like Jeffrey Epstein and William Barr.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird.
It's like I remember in Wayne's World when they're talking, and he's like talking about I Dream of Jeannie and how they changed the actor who played the main guy.
Yeah.
From Dick Sargent to Dick York.
Yeah.
Sergeant York.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You are trying to hide the fact that
I'm a believer.
you are beginning to have some affinity for Justin Bieber.
He's just a misunderstood kid.
Uh-huh.
No. This like I think it's like this series that he's doing on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I just think that this one is like one episode or something. I saw it on TMZ.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And I knew he had Lyme's disease, but like, I click on it.
Don't you get that from ticks or something?
Lyme's.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get LYME disease from LIMES?
Yeah. If you get bitten by a bunch of ticks, you get ticks disease.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, he's talking all about all the ways he's like abused his body, you know?
Yeah. He's talking about all the fun he's had.
Is
it catching up to him?
It does reinforce my whole theory
Yeah.
of like, call me a prude, call me conservative.
You conservative prude.
But there are certain things that are maybe perfectly acceptable to do as an adult.
Yeah.
That a 21-year-old, you know, someone who's like barely physiologically mature and fully developed yet.
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't be drinking like purple drink.
Right.
You know, and
that's the codeine drink you were telling me about.
Yeah, with the Sprite and the Jolly Rancher, the lean. You know,
what did the Sprite and Jolly Rancher do?
Probably make it taste better.
Oh, okay. Codeine. I mean, I've had codeine before when I had that throat problem. Tasted fine.
Yeah,
tasted like cough syrup.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's like, yeah. So he's talking about how he smoked weed for the first time.
Why do you like him now? What about this is making you like him now?
No, I didn't say I like him. I said
I'm saying that. I'm saying
little fuck bag wants us to feel sorry for him.
I'm saying that you are going to end up liking him.
I've always said, like, if he puts himself on a Justin Timberlake path, because I used to hate Justin Timberlake and all of NSYNC and all the Backstreet Boys and all those stupid boy bands. We were living in Europe when those guys first came out, and there were a bunch of other ones from England, like E17 and Boyzone and all that. I don't know
any of those.
I don't know if it was Boyzone American, or I don't know who they were, but then Timberlake like broke free, and I still hated him when he put out Justified. You know, but then it's like, okay, now all of a sudden he's like getting a bit older, and he's like hosting SNL.
He did Dick in a Box, and then you were like,
he did Dick in a Box. He's funny, and it's like, okay, dude, this guy's like, he's legit. You know, Bieber's got a long way to go. You know. But
he's on the path, and you were
courting.
recognizing
He's
it.
courting my affection, and I appreciate it. Like Justin, I notice, and I see it, and
but I have known all along that you will one day appreciate and like Justin Bieber.
Okay, yeah, maybe I will. You might be right. You might have been right the whole time. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's just like the thing is.
So this is a series he's doing on.
I don't know.
YouTube.
But this episode was just about. It had his like doctor and his shrink and his manager and his wife and you know.
Well, Taylor Swift is doing a similar thing. I think she's got some new movie
I want to watch
on
that.
Netflix, and I watched about 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And it seems to be. I was kind of watching it and talking, but my attitude was kind of like, oh, we're supposed to feel sorry for Taylor Swift now, like, oh, poor Taylor Swift. It's so hard to date somebody. You know, because apparently she's turning into like a cat lady. She's not dating anybody, and she just has a bunch of cats.
Well, her latest thing is her whole beef with her manager, and who's Justin Bieber's manager. That's Scooter Braun.
The sexual assault thing where he grabbed her ass.
No,
in the picture.
It was about. I don't think that's what it's about. I think it's about them telling her she can't. Like them having control of her music.
Yeah.
And
no, it's the same guy, I think, though. They had a huge court case because she claims that he sexually assaulted her. And there's a picture showing him, like, it looks like in the picture, like he's grabbing her ass in the picture. And so the movie, as I was watching it, she was in front of a crowd with a piano talking about, like, I will always listen to sexual assault victims now because I know what it's like to not be believed. You know? It's kind of crazy.
But it's like I will always love Taylor Swift just because she's adorable.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber, it's like that little bitch, like, you know, he's got his work cut out for him to earn my respect.
Okay.
And I know he's taking that shit serious. And
well, I mean, I liked him because I watched Never Say Never in like 2012.
Right.
And Chloe was in love with him, and she's like, Dad, just watch this. And I watched it, and I still thought he was a little shit, but I was also like, he's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
So it's like I recognize the talent, and someday when he's not being a little shit anymore, he's probably gonna become self-deprecating and be funny.
Yeah, and he was like, I mean, because he's like 26, 27 now or whatever.
I'm just like such a klutz with this thing. I'm like,
you're just
constantly knocking stuff over.
Yeah. But he, when we started this podcast, he was in the height of his like assholery.
Yeah, that's when he was driving his Lamborghini down through.
Yeah, drag racing and vandalizing
Florida.
and pissing in mop buckets.
Of course, he was here in Preston driving his Lamborghini like 4 months ago.
Yeah,
So,
little fucker. I'm glad you got Lyme disease.
maybe his
piece
Lyme
of
disease
shit.
wasn't that strong then or something.
Yeah.
But he's also become very religious, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's a problem. He's all about the Hillsong and
Right.
yeah. So it's like, but I was wondering because I was waiting in this. I was watching this thing going like, all right. First of all, because he's talking about like I remember when I first smoked weed. I was 13 and I loved it, and it was like I became dependent on it. I'm like, okay, okay.
God.
Is this a religious thing where you're going to try to make some gateway drug argument and talk about Jesus?
Right.
But he didn't. He talked about God a little bit, like God.
Is he saying he doesn't do any drugs or substances anymore?
Yeah, I mean he's clean now.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
He
exactly.
looks a lot less clean now than he did when he was doing all the substances.
Yeah, when he was like 9.
Yeah, he looks like a child molester now.
Yeah. I love that picture of Halsey and Machine Gun Kelly on the beach.
I mean, I like any picture of Halsey.
But you seen that one where it's like, it's from Instagram. It's like they're on the beach and it's Halsey and Machine Gun Kelly, and somebody commented on it and said like, "There's no fucking way you're gonna tell me that neither of these people is Justin Bieber."
Yeah.
Because like, look at him, you know. Yeah. But he didn't. He talked about God a couple times, like God, you know. But it was kind of generic, like God gave me this gift and I need to like respect it, or God gave me this body is from God and I need to respect it. So it wasn't like some big evangelical like plea or whatever.
He'll be doing drugs again at some point.
I
mean, hopefully.
I mean, you look at these people and you're just like, especially when I think that drugs are good when it comes to for artists. You know, like when the Beatles started dropping acid, they stopped singing "I Want to Hold Your Hand" and they started like writing "Strawberry Fields Forever." Right? It was like amazingly like beneficial to their craft.
Sure.
But they were in their probably late 20s, 30 years old
Yeah.
at this point. Or they were born in the like 40s, so that yeah, like mid to late 20s. You know, but it's like. You look at some of these rappers, dude, and it's just like, holy shit balls. Like, are you like, it's no wonder you're all dying. Like Juice WRLD died.
Yeah. Did he die of drugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
I don't know who that is. I find out who these guys are after they die.
Right. Yeah. They see the DEA like confiscated all of his stuff at an airport.
Yeah.
And they had like 80 pounds of weed. And he took a bunch of Percocets. I think he just like swallowed a whole bag of them because I don't want them to catch me with these.
That's how he
died. And then he died.
Oh my God.
And it's like, and you listen to like, it's like, okay, you're all fucking, like Lil Wayne's already almost died several times.
Has he?
That bitch is going to be dead like within a year.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And it's like, I don't know.
I mean, some people have addictive personalities, right? What I have kind of, I hope I'm never proven wrong on this, but I have come to the conclusion I don't have an addictive personality.
I feel the same way about myself.
You do? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I barely drink anymore. I drink with you basically on the podcast. That's
fine. Blame me.
That's all I have really have drunk.
You know, the first sign of an addict is when he blames his best friend for his vices.
Yeah. And then, like weed, I've had times where I smoke weed like every night for 3 months, and then I'll go 3 years and I'm like, I'm not interested, I'm not saying I can't be addicted to anything. I'm sure there's stuff you have to be careful about. Every time I've had painkillers, I'll be the first person to say that if you give me a prescription of painkillers for some kind of surgery, I'm like, yes, but as soon as they run out, I don't go on the dark web or buy more. I don't go looking for more. I'm just like, oh, that was fun. That was a fun week with the painkillers. I'm done. And I was talking to my doctor from the surgery last Thursday, and he's like, we're really worried about people getting addicted to these. I'm like, yeah, I'm not worried about it though. Cause he's like, well, you could do this Tylenol, Aleve,
cocktail
pain thing. And I'm like, just give me the narcotics. Like I'm going to be fine. Like give me the prescription, and a week later I'll be off of them and you'll never hear from me
Just
again.
give me that Zach.
But then there are people who, obviously can't even be around alcohol and have a drink because every time they just want to get so fucked up they don't remember what they did.
And I think the tendency is, I know for me, is when you're not an addict or don't have an addictive personality, you kind of oversimplify and minimize the struggle of people who are that way.
Yeah.
It's like, because you'll be like, just get over it. You know, just get over it. Don't have any.
Right.
You know, but it's like, okay, but my brain
But you don't know what
isn't
it's like
wired.
to struggle that way.
Yeah, like, you know, people who are like, I can't have one drink. Like when we had Marta on our show.
Yeah.
You know, oddly enough, in this very room.
Didn't look like this.
No, I can't imagine that we had her. She was sitting right there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
There was some like rat climbing on her
Yeah.
hair.
It was like a rat nest.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know what it's like to have to constantly ratchet up the stimulation and to double down and triple down constantly and go deeper and harder. And, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just not that way with anything.
Right.
You know? But it's like, I don't want to like
minimize their
or just expect that everyone experiences the world the way I do, because
Right.
it's like, no, I know that there are certain people.
That's what you do, though. You simplify things and
well, I do
expect that everybody's experience is the same as yours. Like, what are you doing right now?
Well, when I'm trying to be funny, then I do that.
Okay.
You know, but when I do that, I'm doing it knowing.
Right.
Like, I wonder sometimes, like, I was watching
Do people realize that Jason, if he was having a serious conversation with you, wouldn't be saying this?
Well, people like the people on the cruise, like the DXP folks on the cruise that we just took.
Yeah.
Like
shout out to all of them, by the way, who came on. Like Eric and Anna Wise, they were awesome, and
Ben and Melissa,
and Cora and Nancy and her husband Steve. And am I missing anyone?
Somebody said,
is that everybody? Who came with us?
If it's not everybody, then we're just assholes right now.
Yeah.
Somebody's going like, I was there too. But somebody was like, oh, I was at DXP at the event on Friday night before the cruise when you fucked up your hand.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, oh my God, like I can't. Somebody told me later, like, oh, so and so said, like, I can't believe Jason was that nice. Like, he's really nice. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, thank you.
And like a Christian guy's a dick.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, when I'm doing my thing, it's like, I trivialize and minimize everything.
Right.
You know, like Bill Burr, I was watching him the other night, and he's doing his whole bit about just eat a salad. He's talking about fat people.
Yeah.
You know, you ate your way in, you can walk your way out, you know. Eat a salad, get on a treadmill, the pounds will shed off. Like, oh, I'm not going to not make fun of you. You weren't born with this. It's not like a religion or a race.
Ricky Gervais goes off in
Humanity.
Not Humanity. It's the one before that, Out of England, I think it's called, or something like that. He just like, I'm watching it. You can't find, it's not on HBO anymore. It was an HBO.
Is it on YouTube?
Special. It's not. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube, but it's like bad quality.
Oh.
Poor quality. And I was wondering, why is it? But he like goes off on fat people.
Was he fat at the time or thin? Because he's swung quite a bit.
I think this was when he had worked out a little bit and was a little bit. Actually, no, he didn't look that good.
Okay.
I don't know. It's still like, it was like to me. I'm watching it and going like, oh God, this seems.
And did you watch this on YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah.
You can watch the whole thing like it's one big file.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty funny. And there's Out of England and Out of England 2, if I'm remembering the name of it correctly.
Cool.
It's funny, but it's also like, I wanted to know, does he look back and say, oh, I wouldn't say that now? Because it was like 12 years ago.
Sarah Silverman will talk about some of the jokes she made, like in Jesus' Magic.
Yeah.
And you know, she's like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do that anymore. Like I wouldn't have said it that way.
Right.
You know.
So should we talk real quick about what happened to me?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's delve into this segment is called "What Happened to Him."
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. Oh yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, you can see her.
Yeah. So we had a DXP pre-cruise gathering in Long Beach, where our ship was docked, or we embarked from, and we went to a few different places. Portuguese something?
I don't remember the
Portuguese
names of
Bend.
The Blind Pig or some shit.
No, the Blind Donkey.
Blind Donkey.
Don't just call it some shit. That's where La La Land was filmed.
Oh, Sebs. We went to Sebs.
Yeah, Portuguese Bend. And then we went to another place I don't remember the name of. And then we ended up at Blind Donkey, where the final scene of La La Land was filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't there for Portuguese Bend. I met you guys at the second place. And then we walked from there to Blind Donkey. And while we're walking, I'm with Michael and Paula, and Michael starts looking at the scooters because all around Long Beach.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They have them in San Diego, Long Beach, Denver. Those are the 3 places I've seen them. But they're Bird scooters. Another one. They're like the scooters are Uber. It's an Uber business. Some of these scooters. Some of them are Lyft. They make their own scooters too. They spread them out all over the town, and you can basically scan with your phone, and you get charged, and you can ride the scooter for as long as you want.
It's so funny how quickly this is, because I remember when you and I were in Paris.
By the way, I got charged $23 for that ride on the scooter.
You could have just taken a cab.
Yeah.
Or get a rickshaw.
Yeah, and had 2 arms for 8 weeks.
When we were in Paris, in what year was that? 2012?
2010.
2010?
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 years ago. Almost. It'll be 10 years ago this summer. They had those bicycle depots where you just scan your card and you can unlock a bike.
And they have those in Seattle.
But they, at the time though, that I'd not seen that anywhere. And it was like, oh my God, like Paris, like they've got these, like you can just grab a bike anywhere you're at, ride it to where you want to go, drop it off, and it'll lock itself up.
Yeah.
But then since then, there's zip cars and scooters.
Well, these scooters are, you just pick them up wherever you see it and leave it wherever you end up.
Yeah.
You don't, like the bikes used to be, you have to put it in a
special,
locker
like,
or whatever. Yeah. The scooters are just, you just scan it and go, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I had never done this before, but Michael's like trying to get it all working because he's Michael.
Yeah.
You know? He's like, I want to do this. And I'm next to him. I'm like, oh, I'm going to sign up too. So I signed up.
And I'm thinking at the time, I'm like,
this is a bad idea.
There's no way in the world I would take the time to experience this new thing.
Right.
Fuck it. I'm going to walk.
Right.
But I'm glad I did.
So they stopped. Michael finally.
This is why.
Yeah. This is why I'm not glad. So Michael finally, I think it was like, oh, it's too hard. Let's just go. But I had already downloaded the app and everything. So I was like, you know, I didn't think anything about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then we're at the Blind Donkey, and
yeah, we were you and I were talking with a group of people, and it was like really loud. There's a DJ up there, and then you said something about an Irish exit.
Well, yeah, because I've talked on the podcast before about Irish exits and how I think that they're actually the best way to leave a group of people because you're not interrupting the party. Nobody notices till later.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. You know?
So you said something about it, and then it got in my head.
Yeah. Because you were like, I'm going to leave in about 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, shit. I want to do the Irish exit, so I got to leave faster.
Yeah. And so I think once I realized, like probably 10 minutes after we were talking about it, once I realized you had left, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just dip, dude. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And then, so I just kind of like, somebody had got me a drink. It was like a big ass drink. So I finished that. And then I just left. And I'm like, I know I'm close enough to, I'm like maybe a 30-minute walk, 20-minute walk to the hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck it is, but I can just like kind of look at Google Maps and be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And so I just started walking, which was good for me because I had like smoked a bit of weed and it was like a brisk walk at night in 55 degree weather. It was like, it sobered me up great.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, this is Friday night, like maybe 10:30, 11, and we're gonna be meeting at the cruise ship at noon the next
day on Saturday.
And so I left and I walk out of the Blind Donkey. I had asked Michael, do I just go this way? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And I thought I'm just gonna take the scooter and go down that street. I've been in that area quite a bit. I stayed there for a few days years ago, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna get down towards the beach. I'll know where I am, or towards the port. And I start walking, and I'm like, there's a scooter right outside a Blind Donkey, the Bird scooter that I just signed up on the app for. I'm like, huh. I was like,
what's the worst that could happen?
I'll give this a try.
Yeah. Like what's gonna happen?
And I'm like proud of myself and my Irish exit and everything. And I'm like, I'm going to get to the hotel super fast. And so I scan it, jump on the scooter, and I'm like flying down the street. And the things are fast. They go about, the highest I got, it was 18.1 miles
They're
per
electric?
hour. They're electric, yeah.
And then, like, how do they recharge themselves? Like, if someone just uses one and leaves it someplace,
I don't know.
How does it? What if you get it and it's
Not
got a
my
dead
concern.
battery?
Not my concern. So,
Well, you wish it had a worse battery.
yeah, I wish it didn't
Imagine if it
work.
only could go like 5 miles an hour.
I know. So the fastest I got it up to, because I was looking, was 18.1 miles per hour. And but then I was going like down these roads that I thought I was going the right way, and I was just going, thinking I'm gonna hit like the Laugh Factory and all this stuff, and I'm gonna know where I'm at. But I just kept going and going. All of a sudden, I felt like I was in almost a residential area, and I'm like, this is like, I'm suddenly not where I thought I was.
Now I'm in like the LBC that Snoop Dogg used to rap about in the 90s.
No, I didn't feel
I don't want to be there.
I was still like by the trams and stuff. I didn't feel like I was in a bad area. But so I go through this alley, and I'm like, okay, I need to actually look at the map, figure where I am. So I open up my phone, but like, first of all, you can't do a scooter over 10 miles per hour with one hand because you get speed wobbles. You know, so you have both hands on. So then I'm like holding the phone, and I'm like placing my, like, the back of my hand on the handlebar to hold it, you know. And I'm just going down this road like, okay, I need to go here, okay. And then I think, I can cross the street here. There's no crosswalks, it was in the middle of the street, but I can cross the streets here. There's no cars coming. And so I turned across the street, and I'm gonna go over the tram tracks, but I didn't realize there were these like 2 or 3 inch curbs like on either side of the tram tracks to keep cars from like moving into that lane or whatever. And so I'm just like,
to keep scooters from jaywalking.
I was probably going 10 miles an hour, maybe. I don't know. I just turned right into it, and the next thing I know, I had to hit the ground with my face first and my hand. And
did you break your phone?
I broke the case.
Okay.
So it has a new case now.
Okay.
And my watch is all scratched up on the watch face. By the way, you know how much a new watch face costs on one of those Apple Watches?
$20.
$299.
That's why I don't want one.
So I'm kind of like, that's ridiculous, because a watch costs $399, the whole watch.
Because they're trusting that you're gonna fucking scratch it up and then have to spend $300.
I mean, it took a lot. It's still totally usable, but it took a lot to scratch it up as much as it did, because it hit hard. Anyway, there was like skin in the case broke of my watch, and it was all cracked. And the next morning, I was like trying to pull up pieces, and I realized there was pieces of skin in between the little.
So you're part machine, and your watch is like part Christian,
part human, yeah. So as soon as I hit the ground, there was a guy walking past, and he's like, "Dude, are you okay? Oh my God, are you okay?" And I was like, I was pretty shaken. I was like, "Yeah,
well,
yeah."
Especially because
he's like, "Dude, no, seriously, you okay? You okay?"
Because you didn't know. It's not like when. It's like sometimes you see something coming. Like if you rear end somebody, you see it a split second before it happens, and so you hit your brakes and you know it's coming.
Or you're running down a hill and you know you're gonna fall. You can at least put your hands out in front of your face or something. This was just purely just like bam.
It's like when I was
onto the ground.
When you skateboard and you're there's a little piece of gravel or a pebble,
right?
And it just wedges in between one of your front wheels, and you just stop.
Caught just perfect.
You have no idea it's there, and you're going, and all of a sudden it's like, God forbid if you're like, that's why like you never like
gravel's the worst for skateboarders.
You never put your hands in your pockets if you're like walking downstairs. Like when I'm at work, it's like I'm walking down this like 50 stairs. You know, if I park a car, just walk back down. It's like it's cold. And I want to put my hands in my pockets, but it's like no, because if I fall, if something happens and I trip or something, and you can't pull your hands out of your pockets, and then your face gets all the brunt of it.
Right.
You know, as opposed to at least you could put your hands down and like break your wrist or something.
Yeah. No, I had no warning.
Yeah.
And anyway, so then I texted Vicky, and I was like, I had a bit of a scooter accident. I'm coming back to the hotel. She's like, "Do you mean to come get you?" And I was like, "No, I'll be there soon." And I got back on the scooter, but the brake on these scooters is on the left, and I couldn't squeeze the brake. Like it was, but I somehow like hobbled with the scooter back to the hotel. I walked through the hotel. As I'm walking through the hotel, blood is dripping off my hand onto the hotel lobby, like that marble floor down there. And I get up to the room, and I'm just like, my face is bloody, my lips cut up, My hand is like bleeding everywhere. My pinky is going the opposite direction as the rest of my fingers. And so security came up with some bandages and stuff, and we like tried to bandage it all up. And then I went to sleep, and the next morning I woke up and it was in so much pain in the morning. I was like, yeah, this is not like I jammed my finger. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital for this. So,
and it's like we're fucking sailing away.
It's like 9 a.m. Yeah, it's like 9 a.m. We're meeting the ship at noon. My kids are flying in from Seattle, and we're meeting them at the ship at noon to get on. And it's 9 a.m. and we're calling urgent care centers. None of them open till 10 a.m. So we're finally like, okay,
so much for urgent.
We're gonna have to go to Long Beach Memorial. And I get to Long Beach Memorial, and they do the X-rays and all that. And and you know the story, but while I'm there, in this little room in the ER, the doctor comes up and goes, what did she say? She goes, Christian, are you from here? And I said, originally, but and I live in Seattle. And she goes, oh, do you have a brother named Josh? And it was just the weirdest thing because I haven't lived there in 20-something years. And I'm like, I do have a brother named Josh, you know? And so talked to her for a while. It's weird because my brother and I have different last names because we're half brothers. And so I was like, how did she know that? But she knew, she was in my brother's grade. She knew me because I was older, and she said I had a unique look. So I'm guessing she was in like, 7th grade or whatever. When I was a junior.
What year did Josh graduate high school?
He was 4 years behind me. So he was in 7th grade when I was a junior. So she would have been 7th grade. I would have been high school junior. Right. And so she was like, oh, that's the bald. That's the very good. That's the amazing the volleyball player with the bald head and no eyebrows.
But she also probably knew you because didn't you date a 6th grader when you were a junior in high school?
No,
yeah, you did.
No, she was in 8th grade. And she was
very mature.
She didn't look like she was in 8th grade.
She was 12, but she was very mature for her age.
And we didn't date. We never did anything.
Okay.
I mean, I thought about it a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Liberty Bonvicino. Liberty Bonvicino, if you're still out there, I would like to know what happened to her because I feel like she was headed for trouble.
Not to be confused with Big Pussy Bompancero from The Sopranos.
Right. Do you remember her, Liberty?
Not really. Kind of.
Do you remember that she was hot for an 8th grader?
I'm not going to touch that fucking question.
Like I said, we never did anything.
She was 11, but trust me.
We never did anything.
Yeah.
She wanted to, and we did not.
I'm just
saying, like, she was a temptation. She was from the devil, a temptation from the devil.
Do you follow Emily Ratajkowski on Instagram?
No. I don't know why I don't, but it seems like she seems like somebody I would follow on Instagram.
She posted a photo of herself when she was 14.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Look it up.
All right. So anyway,
yikes.
They put something that was similar to this thing I'm holding up for those on YouTube. They put something like this on my arm and sent me on my way. Mm-hmm. And I was like Ubering from the emergency room to the hotel to grab my bag to meet all of you guys at the cruise. And so all week I was in tremendous pain. Fortunately, John Thomas had prescription pills that he had from a surgery he wasn't using, and that kept me kind of going. But I didn't drink very much on the cruise because of that. And
is that why you were so boring?
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I still had a really good time. It was a great cruise. It was really fun because all my kids were there.
Yeah,
I really liked that. The ship was not my favorite ship, but ended up growing on me.
Me too.
Be good. But yeah, then I got back and it was like, yeah, you need to have surgery on this. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
It's funny because my kids were like, "Who all was there?" I'm like, "Oh
no."
I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was fun. It was like me and Janie and Christian was there and Vicky and Christian's kids, Chloe, Zeke, and Jonah and
you're like, and Christian's kids were there.
And my kids are like, "Oh yeah. So we see a pattern here." I'm like, "What?" Yeah, so he brought all his kids and you didn't bring any of us. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm bringing you to California in like a couple of months. Just take it easy.
Are you?
Yeah.
When?
June. Late June.
Okay. You're going down to California?
Yeah.
You haven't asked me to drive down with you yet, so I'm just wondering when that happens.
I'm going to take them to see their cousins because my brother has twin boys who are a year and a half old.
Nice. How long are you going down for?
Like 4 days.
Okay.
Not, I mean, our restaurant hopefully will have just opened.
Yeah.
And so I need to get it,
Yeah.
It can't be a long extended vacation. It's going to be like a quick trip.
Right. What was I gonna say? Oh, you would like to take your kids on a cruise, though, right? I mean, at a certain age, especially.
Not
Like all my kids were over 18, so that was much easier.
at this age. It wouldn't.
Like Fiona would be a nightmare on a cruise right now.
Well, it just wouldn't be at this age. It wouldn't be all that fun.
Yeah.
For me, And it's like, well, a vacation is not supposed to be fun for you. It's supposed to be something that your kids enjoy. Okay, then I'm not going to take them on a cruise. I'll take them somewhere else.
Right.
Because a cruise is really expensive.
Yeah.
And if I've got a 12-year-old, it's not. It would.
But when they're all over 18,
Oh, it'd be
that would
great.
be fun for
Yeah.
all of us to go.
Yeah.
With all the kids and
Yeah.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not when they're 12, 13, and 15.
Yeah.
Ready
to take a break?
We haven't started yet.
I know. We're gonna do the Proust Questionnaire Part 3.
Oh yeah.
We've done 16 questions of the 35. We're not gonna get through 17 to 35 tonight, but let's take a break.
Okay.
All right.
It feels like we've barely begun. I'm sad.
I have not yet begun to podcast.
Because it's like whenever we take a break from doing this show, it's like I'm always so excited to do an episode, and then when it's like, when it's almost over, I get all sad because I like it.
I know. It's nice to just catch up and hang out.
Yeah, just hang out
I
together.
hardly ever see you anymore. So, all right, break. We're back.
We're back. Do I need to scream?
Nope.
All right.
No screaming necessary.
Cool.
I mean, I get a little turned on when you scream.
I get a little turned on when I
But,
scream.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
So this is last week we did the Dan Koch interview. Mm-hmm. We put it out.
Which was met with rave reviews.
People really like Dan Koch so much that they're like, he should be the third host of your podcast.
Or
there should be three of you.
Or the only host.
Yeah.
He should take over both of your jobs and you guys should go fuck yourselves.
I mean, he is very personable, knowledgeable, and fun to talk to.
Yeah, I found
I get it.
Yeah.
I like listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a good voice. He's just, dreamy. I bet we will have him on again.
Yeah.
He would be somebody, because he lives in the area. He's somebody to me that I would love to just come talk to us like every few months.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll hang out and talk. Anyway, I was going to say we did the Proust Questionnaire episode 1, part 1, which was, I think, questions 1 through 9. Then we did the Proust Questionnaire part 2, which was questions 10 through 16. And then we did Dan Koch interview. And now we're going to do the Proust Questionnaire questions 17 through whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see where we get.
Part 3.
Part 3. You don't have it in front of you, but I'll ask the question, but then we alternate on who answers first.
Okay.
I went through these when we first started this. I was kind of like, oh, what would I say for this? I don't know. In case there was anything difficult, but I have forgotten all of it.
Yeah.
So the last question we did was when and where were you happiest?
Okay.
So I think I said Bible college, perhaps. I think you probably said Hungary.
Maybe.
Before you were married. Hungary before you were married.
Pre-marriage.
Hungary when I was there and you were unmarried.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's got to be your happiest.
That was about a year. About a year, a little bit more.
Yeah, because I got there in 1996, February of 1996.
So like
January.
14 months, 15 months.
That's crazy because that time between when I got there and you got married seemed long. But we were just younger, so everything seemed longer.
Yeah. Like when you graduate high school comprises 25% of your conscious life.
Right.
So
and now it's less than 10%.
And now 4 years goes by and it's like,
Yeah.
Like I was thinking today, it's 2020.
I took a shit that lasted 4 years.
Yeah, I was thinking like something about U2. Oh, some album that came out of theirs in 2009, but that's considered new U2 still.
Yeah.
But it's like that's 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's from Boy until Octung Baby.
Yeah.
Like but it's like that was a massive amount of time.
You measure time like I measure time, except for you it's U2 and for me it's World Cups.
Oh,
It's like that was 3 World Cups ago.
right.
Yeah. That time seems so long when I got there versus when you got married. I remember even flirting with Alita before you guys weren't even like, you were friends.
And you were married.
I was married. I wasn't flirting with her to get anywhere, but I remember
She was really easy to flirt with back then.
she was easy to flirt with.
Yeah.
And
And she was very flirtatious back then.
she was very flirtatious, and she's cute. And I had we were at a stoplight crossing a street, like a group of us, and it was me and Elizabeth. We're newly married. We're like
It was in Budapest?
4 months married. Yeah, we're in Budapest somewhere, and Alita was at the light, and I don't remember what was happening, but I grabbed Alita over my shoulder.
Oh, I remember.
Do you remember me telling you the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grabbed her over my shoulder and spun her around, and then put her down.
Yeah.
And I was just playing around, looking back. Okay, yeah, that's flirtatious, but I wasn't trying to like sleep with her or anything. It was just
Right.
being myself. I'm naturally a pretty flirtatious person. And Elizabeth my old wife got super mad. Like, you're just like flirting with this girl, and Alita and I had a pretty good connection because she's logical and funny and, all this stuff. But yeah. And so that's weird to think about. You weren't even like, you guys weren't even thinking about anything yet. You got married in that space of time somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I remember talking to you all the time, and you were asking me about what sex is like.
Yeah.
We'd sit late at night, like 2 a.m, and you'd just be like, "So, like, what's it like?"
I feel like
when you like,
I feel like this is
when
what
you
it's
put
like.
your wiener in the vagina, like what?
I feel like it's putting your wiener into
I don't know how you just don't just come right away.
a warm, tight, wet hole. Is that what it's like? Yeah. Cool. Dude.
And I'm like, sex is cool, dude, but like all the shit you gotta put up with to have sex is not worth it.
Yeah. Speaking of getting married, my onion, or you? Well, you didn't get a new onion calendar?
No.
Did you? Okay,
and the one you gave me fell apart in February last year. So.
The today's headline
Yeah.
is man in kitchen wondering why he got married, had kids, and got a steady job and came in here for.
That's funny.
And it's like, yeah, he's in the kitchen going like, surely there's got to be. He's looking in the fridge going like, I know I like came in here, but initially, first of all, got married, had a bunch of fucking kids, got a stable job, and then came in here.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason.
But that's also, it's funny because that's how fast things happen.
Yeah.
It's like 1 minute you're like, I want some chips and salsa. The next minute you're like, oh shit, I just got married, had some kids, and now I'm like in the kitchen looking for the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
my life's over.
The Proust Questionnaire. We're on to the next question, which is question 17. So we're almost halfway there. The question is, and we'll go to you first. Which talent would you most like to have?
I would like to be able to write songs, be a songwriter.
Really?
Because I feel like I have a bunch of, like, I would really, like, I admire, there are a lot of people I admire. I admire stand-up comedians, I admire poets, I admire writers, I admire musicians and singers. But it's like, I can do those things. Like, I can sing fine. I can play guitar fine.
That's what I was going to say about you. Jason, he sings fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's fine.
To me, you're good. When I hear you sing every once in a while, when you post something, or I've seen something recently where you actually were singing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, damn. Like,
but I can be funny. I could write. But but it's like the one thing I can't do, or like I've not really tried, or like really put myself out there and become vulnerable to try. And my daughter Ainsley is constantly like, Dad, have you worked on that song? Because I'm like, I want to write a song. Before I die, I want to write a song that has like a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's 3 minutes long, has a melody, has choruses, verses, everything, a bridge. But it's like I've not quite, like I haven't done it yet. I can't do. I've never tried. I don't know if it's a fear or just inability. But if I could have any talent, I would love to be able to write songs.
It doesn't seem like writing a song is that hard.
It shouldn't be. Like but I'll listen to like Iron and Wine. Like if I think about,
it's poetry basically.
it's poetry. Like when I think about the kind of music I'd probably write, it would be a lot like Sam Beam from Iron and Wine.
Okay.
And he's not a great singer. He's quite a good guitar player. His singing is fine. He doesn't have some great range. He's he's more talented for his ability to create melodies than he in his lyrics than he is for his actual singing voice. His singing voice is good, but it's not great, you know. But then I listen to like Post Malone, and I'm like, how does this motherfucker write that many catchy hooks? You know, like he'll just like shit out all this like content.
I need to listen to him more, because when I do listen, I like the songs, but I don't get it yet. I don't get like, really, this guy is like that popular yet.
But you know he is, though.
Oh yeah, no, I know the problem is me.
Right.
I'm just like, I just haven't listened enough.
Yeah, and it's not, and he may not be good. He may just be popular. There's a big difference.
Right.
But he has an ability to write a hook where it's like, you start listening to his stuff, and all of a sudden, the second time a song comes on, you already know the chorus. Because you're like, oh yeah, this one. I know this one. It goes da 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 like that. I know the melody. I remember it. And it's like, that's uncanny to be able to write that many catchy hooks. Yeah. And I'm not necessarily into catchy hook, poppy type music.
He's like a jingle writer that became famous for making songs.
He could be, if he wanted to be a jingle writer, he could.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably want to be able to, with more ease, sit down and be like, I got it. Like Bono always talks about, I get a melody in my head, and I try to find, you know, words and you know, to go with this. I got this melody, and I'm constantly chasing this melody, and I'm still I've been chasing it for 50 years, and I'm still trying to write that song, that perfect song. And look at all the songs he's written. Yeah, I would love to have that talent. To be able to write a song.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, my talent would be to be able to write a book. It's like, when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be a writer. I used to carry around a notebook and a pen and just try to start writing a story. But it's like, when you're 7 or 8, you try to write a story. It's like, you know,
the Jedi Knight.
Yeah,
you know?
it's horrible.
Killed you.
And I don't have them anymore, but I would find them when I was like late teens and be like, oh yeah, I remember I wanted to be a writer so bad. You know, to me, a writer was the greatest job that a person could have. And
I still think, I mean, that's a different question, because I still, like, if you were to ask me, and maybe this is one of the questions coming up, if you could be famous for anything, what would it be for? You know? And we don't really live in a day anymore where being a famous writer would be that awesome. Yeah. Like Stephen King, or even somebody like Jonathan Franzen. Yeah. You know? Jonathan Franzen doesn't like walk out of his house, get mobbed by teenagers throwing panties at him. Yeah. The way that, like, you know, writers
But he gets mobbed by the people who matter. So when he goes to...
Hold on. Don't dismiss teenagers throwing their panties at people, because that's amazing.
When he goes to B. Dalton and signs books.
B. Dalton. Like, holy shit.
Like, he's... Like, I don't want to be... I would never want to be famous the way Brad Pitt is famous, right? Where you can't go to the store without being mauled. But I would love to be Survivor famous. We've talked about this before, where you can walk through the airport like Kim Richard. What was her name? Kim. What was her last name? Richards?
No.
Why am I thinking Richards?
Kim Richards is the little girl from
Witch Mountain. Escape from Witch Mountain.
And Tough Turf.
Yeah.
Kim Spradlin.
Is that her name?
I think it's Spradlin. She's in the new season.
I know. I'm so excited. We saw her at the airport. She was walking around, but you and I were like, well, you first were like, oh my God, that's Kim from Survivor. We just watched the season. Like, that kind of famous would be fun. But writers are that kind of famous, unless they're Stephen King. Like, that's only because he's so fucking bizarre looking, you know? But most writers aren't known on sight.
Right.
You know?
But they used to be. There was a time in our culture, in Western culture, when the biggest rock stars were
writers.
were novelists.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not even writing novels necessarily. Like, I would love to be able to write a screenplay. You know, I would love, and part of me wonders, like, I've been told by people who know me, you could do this, you know, and then part of me just goes, well, is it just a lack of like actual drive and desire? Like, if you and I sat down together for a month and we locked ourselves in a room and we're like, let's figure this out. Could we come up with some awesome script for something?
yeah,
Or
I think
some
we probably
idea of
could.
something? So you could make the talent I would most like to have come true.
But I'm refusing to do it. I like that feeling of power I get when I withhold what people want most.
It's
I do
funny.
it with my kids a lot with love. You know, I just
It's
withhold
good.
it.
Don't let them have too much
What's
of
that where Arrested Development?
They'll just run with it.
Remember when Buster was bitching about Lucille? About she's like so withholding. And then it got back to with Lucille.
Yeah.
And then they have this codependent relationship.
Yeah.
And then she walks in, like they're having a board meeting or whatever. She barges in and she's like, "Here, Buster, here's a candy bar." "Oh, no, I'm withholding it."
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
To me, being able to create something with like a pen and a paper or a typewriter or whatever, or word processor, it just that entertains people and that affects people's emotions. That to me seems like the greatest talent.
The problem is...
And something that gets written down so that when you're gone, it still exists.
Yeah.
That is also, to me,
The hard
amazing.
thing about writing, though, these days is that partially probably because of the internet. I don't know if it's that.
that everybody can publish something.
Well, it's really hard to break out, you know?
But I almost don't even care about that if what I write is good.
See, I'll sometimes pull up old articles I wrote on my various blogs.
Yeah.
And I'll read something I wrote 3-4 years ago. And I'm looking at it going like, this is fucking good. Like, I'm
Yeah.
reading it going like, oh, that is so good. It's better. I've read, you know, in this genre, I'm usually writing something about spirituality.
Yeah.
In this genre, I've read 40 different authors.
Yeah.
This is as good as that, if not better.
Right.
But it's like no one read it.
Right.
I spent, 2 hours writing it.
Unlike my blog post on Calvary Chapel, which has been read by, I don't know, countless
Dozens.
thousands of people.
Yeah, it's just frustrating,
Yeah.
though, because it's like, yeah, this is really good. No one cares,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter to me as much. If I wrote something that I knew was really, really good, and I didn't make much money from it, I didn't get famous from it, I would be happy knowing that something that is that good will surface eventually. It might be after I die, but it will have my name attached to it.
Yeah.
And that
See, this is where your optimism and my pessimism butt heads.
right.
No one's going to read it, dude. You're going to die in obscurity. No one gives a shit. Right. No one's going to miss you.
All right. Question 18. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I thought we already did this one.
No.
Or we did one about physical flaws.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what's your least favorite physical?
So answer this one in a way that's not.
But I'm answering first.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? That's really hard.
Would you your pig heart or your metal claw, whatever the.
I'm thinking more personality than physical. If it was physical, for sure the pig heart.
We can't change. We can't answer this physical because we already answered the physical flaw.
Right. So something about myself, personality wise. I think there's two things. One would be equating no, I think the thing would be how quick I could get angry sometimes. I think I don't know why I do that, and every time after it happens, I'm like, that's probably when I feel the most fucked up, is when I have gotten angry quickly at somebody for something minor or small, and I'm just like, what's my problem here? Like, why? Like, I see people who just stay calm, and I'm like, I want to do that. I don't want to stay. Why why am I like wanting to crash my car into this tree right now? You know, like for something. It has gotten better as I've gotten older, for sure. Because it used to be when I was a teenager, like just the smallest thing could make me just lose my shit.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gotten better, and I've gotten better at controlling it. But yeah, my ability to get angry quickly, even though it's gotten better, I just wish that was gone completely. I wish I was slow to anger, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like James chapter 1, right?
Yeah.
Be quick to speak, slow to wrath, quick to listen,
Slow to speak.
slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Yeah. That would probably be it.
So more biblical, more holy as defined by Scripture.
Well, I was going to say not caring about being right that much. That could be another one if I'm like just picking myself apart.
That is something that you know, I mean, everyone does that. Everyone, you know.
Yeah.
But you definitely do that.
I equate being right somehow with like a personal thing.
Right.
You know, it's not just, but I do feel like I've gotten better at it a little bit. Like people tell me, you don't have to be right all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't. Like, even though it's like,
no, usually you're like, fuck you. I don't always have to be right all the time.
Fuck you.
And
You're
here's
wrong
why you're
about
wrong.
me having to be right.
A, this reason. B, C, I got more. I'm going to list them out.
Well, I have been told that I am right a lot. Like by multiple people who know me really well. They will say you are right the majority of the time. But my problem is when I know somebody is wrong. I know they're wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's not about being right. It's about letting them know that I'm right.
Right.
You know, and that to me is probably an area that I would like to be changed to where I could just go, so they think that and I think something else. I don't have to prove it to them.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the podcast has greatly helped with that. When I pick an argument on Facebook now, it's just because I'm bored and it's fun. You know, it's not like, oh my God, this person said this thing and I have to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've grown a lot in that area, but that would probably be like one of the two things I would change about myself. Yeah. What about you?
What would I change about myself?
Yeah. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Can it be that I'm not a billionaire and I wish I were?
That's going to be what you say after I've just poured out my soul.
Dude, it's so 2 nights in a row in the last few nights, I've come home and because Janie likes to watch comedians in cars getting coffee.
Oh, do you watch that?
Yeah.
I love that show.
But she watches it more. It's her go-to when she's like, I'm getting tired, I'm going to watch something.
It's fantastic, yeah.
And twice in a row, I've come home from work, and she's at the exact same moment in the same episode. So, because when I get home, I, get comfortable, and I pour a drink and all that, and I sit down, and she wakes up, and she puts her head in my lap, and she stops while she's watching. And 2 times in a row, it was the Gary Shandling episode where they're driving, and I literally walk into the media room, the bar, and it's the same thing I heard last night, and it's so funny because it reinforces how shallow Jerry is.
I don't think I would like him very much as
He's
a friend.
Utterly shallow.
Yeah.
Like the whole Seinfeld's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
That's about he's got nothing inside of him.
Yeah.
And they're talking about some comedian who recently died. They're driving in a car. Gary Shandling, who's like a comic, a legend,
right.
And then Gary Shandling has died since this episode aired, and Jerry is driving. And they're talking about some other comedian who died, and Jerry's like, that's so sad because like all that material that he had, that he'd been working on, that he never got a chance to perform, and now it's just gone. And Gary Shandling's like, that's what you're sad about?
Yeah.
When this guy fucking died, and you're sad that he has material that no one's going to get to say?
Right. But I also think Jerry Seinfeld is probably happier than anybody else. It's like a 3-year-old. It's like it doesn't take much to entertain you and make you happy.
Right.
You don't think about things super deeply. You're shallow.
Yeah.
So you're happy because you're shallow.
Yeah.
And things are good for you. So your shallowness makes you happy.
Well, it's like the Anthony Jeselnik joke about how like, if I had a son and if I had a son who died, but I found out he would have been a great artist, it's like, well, I don't need that competition.
Right.
So, and then they're talking about, so Gary Shandling is like, jokes, the point of jokes and material is that you're sharing, you're giving a window to your own soul to the world. Like you have an outlet to express all of the humanity and all the stuff that's inside of you. And they're driving, and Jerry's got this like baffled look, and he's like, yeah, but is there no benefit to it beyond that though? Mm-hmm. And Gary Shandling's like, what? Like, I just told you that jokes serve to like show yourself and your humanity to the
Right.
world, and your response is that, but what's it really good for though?
Right.
So yeah. But for me, what was the question?
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I would like to be less lazy.
Really?
And more I feel like I'm ambitious, but in a lazy man's kind of ambition.
Okay.
Where it's like, that'd be cool if I had that, or whatever. But It's like you listen to like Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, or these different podcasts where he has artists and industry people.
Yeah.
And they talk about like, oh yeah, I had a 40-hour-a-week job as a waiter, but I was writing my screenplay, and I'd come home at night and I'd work until 4 a.m. And then I'd get up and I'd work until 8 a.m.
Yeah, because what's more important to you is having your time at night.
Having my leisure time.
Yeah, if you took all of your leisure time for a year and came over here, and we're like, we're gonna like hash out a screenplay.
Yeah,
we could come up with something good.
Yeah, well, yeah,
but we're not going to because
of me.
Partly because of you. I mean, partly because of me too.
Yeah, but.
If you were like, look, let's do this, let's get this done. Mm-hmm. We can come up with something. Mm-hmm. We could change our lives, but you like your comfort, and I do too.
Yeah, Yeah.
But also that's like kind of the coward's way of doing things, right?
I have this
saying we could be great, but we're not gonna because we like having a few drinks at night or whatever.
Yeah, and I think part of it for me is the fear of just failure. Mm-hmm. Which I've had my share of, in my life.
Yeah. You spend all this time writing a book, and you put it out, and it doesn't do well, and then the publishers don't come back saying, let's do the second book,
right?
Or whatever.
Yeah, and I've got this novel that's like, probably halfway done, if not more.
Yeah.
Which I've been working on for 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'd love to finish that and tweak it and put it out there, but it's like. Yeah, but what if no one cares? And I don't care we're different in that, like, I'm not satisfied by putting something out there that's good, knowing that it's good and that's enough. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I want fucking people to read it.
Right.
I want people to read it and acknowledge it.
I'm not saying that I would be okay with if I put something good out and nobody ever read it. I'm saying that I think if you put something really good out, it would eventually be read. It may not be in your time, but something that's quality. I think quality eventually rises to the surface.
And I disagree.
You disagree? Okay.
I think
that's my optimism and your pessimism.
Yeah, I think bullshit rises to the surface. I think the people who do the most accessible, poppy commercial shit.
I'm not saying those people don't get successful and don't the people who rich.
Like Sam Beam of Iron and Wine, or Damian Rice. They can walk down the street and no one knows who the fuck they are.
But they are wildly successful among the people who listen to them.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying they're going to become billionaires one day, but I'm saying there will be a following of people who listen to them and love their music.
Yeah. And there is a following.
Who could say they've changed their lives.
Right. But, those guys have changed my life.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're never going to, they don't have the recognition of like, Justin Bieber.
Right.
But
Justin Bieber's pretty cool though.
Yeah. But it's like, he doesn't put out something real.
Yeah.
Like you're a creation of, you're
right.
a manufactured, synthetic product.
Yeah. All right. This one's to you first. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
Probably this podcast.
That's my answer too.
And it's sad that I had to like think about it hard and go through a bunch of other things that I wish had been more successful, and I had landed on this.
Well, I mean,
here's
the thing. We have thousands of people who have listened who some just listen for entertainment, but some have had their lives changed. Mm-hmm. And many people have written to us and saying, you've like been there for me, you know, like how many times do you get to affect people's lives that much?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're not making tens of thousands of dollars and we're not famous.
Or just ones of thousands.
We're not famous, but we have thousands of people who love listening to us, who have had their lives changed by listening, and some people who just are entertained by it, which is great too, you know? And so I just don't know. I mean, yeah, that could be on a greater magnitude, but most people don't even get that opportunity at all.
Yeah.
And so for me, yeah, that's just no question. Like, unless you're saying kids or something, but
It's like
my kids could end
is
up to
our
be total
kids an
disappointments.
achievement though?
Kids, they could be, or they could just end up being total disappointments.
Well, plus it's like when people say like the miracle of childbirth, and it's like if you understand words and how they work, childbirth is literally the opposite of a miracle.
Right.
Like a miracle is when something suspends the laws of nature.
Yeah.
Like a guy had his hand chopped off.
These
and
are
it
the
grew
laws
back.
of nature exactly
Somebody-
following how
Yeah, somebody
they're
died and
designed.
they rose again.
Yeah.
That's a miracle. It's the natural order being interrupted by something supernatural.
Right.
Having a child is like, I swear, fucking every single species from plants and animals to humans reproduce. It's the opposite of miraculous. There's nothing to be bragged about you didn't achieve anything.
Right.
If you're a woman, maybe you can say, I carried the child the full 9-month gestation period until childbirth and it didn't die.
Right.
Okay, that's, but like, that's not really an achievement. It's just what biology does.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I guess this podcast, whatever.
I know. But I'm proud of it. I'm actually like really proud of this podcast. Mm-hmm. There are parts that I'm sure years from now we'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that.
Well, this is the reason neither of us will ever be president.
Because of this podcast.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, if it wasn't for this podcast, it's a very good chance that one of us would have been president.
Or both of us.
Yeah, both of us at the same time. Or just different countries.
Yeah.
You be president of Canada, I'll be president of the United States.
And then we'll switch.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
But now we can't.
But not because of the podcast we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like, I mean, Oppo research on me would be incredibly easy.
Oh, dude.
I just feel like you don't even have to hire a firm.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
www.drunkexpastors.com.
I've thought about this a lot.
There you go.
Like if there was Oppo research on me, like because I was running for mayor of Preston or something.
Does Preston have a mayor?
I don't think so. I would just have to like go out there first and just say, yeah, I mean, I've done this and this, and I like this, and I'm gonna keep doing this, and there would have to be the whole like were you friends? No, we weren't friends. We were good friends. Were you good friends? No, we were lifelong friends. Be the whole clear and present danger.
What's that movie
strategy.
with Robin Williams where he, as a talk show host, he's like Jon Stewart and becomes president?
Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know this one.
Okay. Well, there's the scene in the trailer where he's announced.
It's not Wag the Dog with Dustin Hoffman?
No, it's Robin Williams.
Okay.
And he's walking with he's a famous guy like Jon Stewart is famous. And then he declares his candidacy, and he's walking with all these press in his face, and he's just divulging everything. He's like, yeah, I smoked weed a lot in college. I had sex with like a lot of people, been in a lot of strip clubs. I farted like 10 feet ago back there.
Yeah.
It's like, there's, here you go. There's, like, have at it.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll never be president.
No, unfortunately for the world, we'll never get to be president.
Sorry, Earth.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question is, if you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what would it be?
Person.
I know. The question isn't like, I'm guessing if it's a thing, you got to say what it is. If it's a person, who would it be? Right? That seems like the right way to ask that question. So the question is to me first. If you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what would it be? It would definitely be a person. What person it would be right now? I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is it a specific person or like a person like someone else in the future? Like a future person who doesn't exist yet, but what would he be like?
I don't think so. I think it's...
How could you come back as someone who already exists? You couldn't.
So it's like a celebrity or a writer or a president or a flower.
It's kind of repetitive because it's like, yeah, I'd want to come back as the person that I just described a second ago about what talent do I wish I had.
Right.
I just come back as someone who has that.
I mean, if I could come back as anybody throughout history, I'd probably come back as Paul McCartney.
But you do realize that history moves forward. So you can't come back as someone who existed, who was born in 1940.
You don't know that. You're just talking anecdotally.
Right.
Anecdotally. Okay, let's just change the question then. If you could come back as anybody, we're both going to pick a person, right? If you could come back as anybody, who would it be? For me, probably Paul McCartney. Because I think being a Beatle and being able to write those songs and all that would be, and having lived through that time would just be, to me, the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could be more noble. I could be like Nelson Mandela or something, but fuck that shit. I want to be a Beatle.
Yeah. What did that guy ever do?
You'd be Bono, so you could sit and talk to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, I'd come back as Bono, so I could make every decision that you two made since the year 2000.
All the wrong decisions.
I'd make the opposite decisions,
Right.
So that they would have stayed to be the coolest band ever instead of like devolved into.
Yeah. So what would it be for you?
Oh man, it would definitely be some sort of songwriter.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Being Bono would have been pretty awesome.
I already picked a songwriter, Paul McCartney.
Yeah. You didn't pick Bono though, did you?
No.
No, so that's still up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, it would have been cool to be like Hemingway or somebody.
Right.
You know, somebody who's like a artist, writer, back in the time when society was actually smart enough to care about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, Fitzgerald, Picasso, you know, somebody like that. Somebody who was alive back in the 1920s in Paris.
Aldous Huxley.
Something cool. Yeah.
Who's the guy? Voltaire.
Voltaire. We saw his tomb in the Pantheon.
We also saw Alexander Dumas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we didn't see him. We saw his tomb.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He did.
So what is that? Is that a mausoleum?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'll be in Italy 2 months from tomorrow. No, 2 months from 2 days from now. So
Okay.
2 months and 2 days.
So in 2 months, we're not going to have a podcast come out, people. Sorry.
And two. What's that from? And two. Chuck Woolery.
Dating game?
Love Connection.
Oh.
Yeah. He always said we'll be back in 2 and 2. Because the commercials are 30 seconds. There's 4 of them. And there's a half second between each one or whatever. So it would be 2 and 2. 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Okay. This is for you first. Where would you most like to live?
Europe.
Okay. Can you be more specific?
Yeah, I'm going to narrow it down.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere on the Mediterranean in France, like on the Riviera.
Okay. Because Bono has a house there.
True.
You're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Sure you didn't, Jason.
No, I'd like to live outside of the U.S. because I hate America.
Okay.
And I'd like to live somewhere where the weather's good. And I'd like to live somewhere where they speak a language that I know some of and that I'd really like to be good at.
I'm worried about the trip to Italy because I realized I don't even know hello in Italian.
Yeah.
And I've realized I need to like bone up for the next 2 months because I don't want to get there and be like, hi, I know nothing.
Buongiorno.
Right. Pizza. Lasagna.
Pinga, the gabagool,
Right.
the mozzarella, the sfogliatelle.
Yeah.
Best in the city. Oh.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that actually.
Yeah.
Like my first, it's
Grazie.
my daughter's first time to Europe, and everywhere I've gone before, I've at least known a little bit of where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm taking her. I'm just gonna be a complete bumbling idiot, like with a map and just being like,
some American.
Hey, could you help me? I don't know. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I first, because Janie had not been to Europe before we and her daughters took a trip there to Budapest, Amalfi Coast, and Paris. But we went to Budapest first, and that was just her and me.
Yeah.
So it was nice because it's
you knew
like
exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, I knew where to go. I knew the language, you know, so I didn't look like a complete idiot.
Yeah. Just a partial idiot.
I mean, I'd love to live in Budapest, but like Hungary right now is like a hellscape of fascism.
Yeah.
Just like America has become.
Yeah.
And then Italy is probably the most objectively beautiful country in the world. It's all coastline. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know Italian.
Yeah.
You know, I know Spanish, but that's, you know, not super helpful. Spain is pretty awesome, though. Yeah. But I think France. I think I'd like to live somewhere in the south of France.
Okay.
What about you?
Where would you most like to live?
Or like maybe Baltimore.
Right. Yeah. Or
Detroit. You know, Cleveland.
Yeah. For some reason, I think of New Zealand as the best place to live. I just feel like they are out of the world's like eye line.
Yeah, they're not like on the radar.
Yeah.
No one's paying attention to them.
They're completely off the radar.
They can get away with all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
It's like being like the youngest child in a family of like 6 kids.
Right.
It's like, no one's fucking paying attention to me. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff.
Right. And they have every type of possible topography there. You know? They've got oceans, mountains, you know, all in a very small. That's why Lord of the Rings was filmed there, was because they have every type of topography you could possibly need to film.
Yeah,
you know, desert, everything. So and the people just seem pretty cool, despite you being quarter Kiwi. They still seem pretty cool.
Aren't I half Kiwi?
Oh, your mom's full Kiwi?
Yeah.
Is she full? Oh, so you're half. Okay. Yeah. I just think like. Yeah, somebody said you have to move somewhere right now to anywhere you want, but you have to live there for the rest of your life. I think I would pick New Zealand.
But because I would definitely want to pick somewhere that's not an English speaking country. Is that not a consideration for you? Like, does that make it better for you or worse for you?
No, I like that. I mean, that makes it easier.
It makes it easier, clearly.
Yeah.
I would love to. I mean, just dreaming out loud here. I would love to live somewhere where I'm just operating in a second language that I become so good at that I just stop speaking English and almost forget it. I just want I want America in my rearview mirror, just receding into the horizon as I leave.
The most interesting thing about speaking another language would be how like Arrival, how they say that your mind changes how you think when you speak another language. To me, it's not just speaking the language, but it's learning to think in a new way than you think with English. Whatever. But there's some new like app. I think it's called Babbel or something, like Babbel maybe, where it's supposed to help you. They advertise it in 3 weeks you'll be conversational in Italian.
It's bullshit.
But it is bullshit. But I do wonder if I spent a month or 2 months with it, if I would at least be able to say, "Hi, how are you?" Or
"Oh yeah, of course."
Can I buy a ticket?
Yeah, for sure.
Venice or whatever.
Yeah, you would be.
I'm hoping with Italy that a lot of people speak English.
You know, it's a weird issue to me is accents. Like, there was I think it was that movie with Clemens Poesi and Michael Caine.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Oh, God,
you're the one who told me about it.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Anyways,
she's cute. The Girl from 127 Hours and Harry Potter.
And Gillian Anderson.
Was it like something Lost Love? Something.
Yeah, Mr. Morgan's Last Love or something.
Yeah.
But Gillian Anderson, who played Scully in the X-Files, she was in it, and so was Andy from Weeds. They were siblings.
Okay.
But there's a scene. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, well, I'm mixing it all up. But Gillian Anderson either grew up in the UK or grew up in the US with English parents.
She can do both accents.
But it's not even that she can do them. But I've seen an interview with her where they've asked her, like, which is your normal accent? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I can answer a phone. If somebody wakes me up in the middle of the night and thrust a phone. Hey, so and so's on the phone, and I'm like not thinking, and I just start talking. Like I might speak in a British accent, or I might speak in an American accent. They're both so natural that I can't even answer the question of which one is my native speech pattern.
Yeah.
Which to me is like,
how's that possible?
what's so weird?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
But I remember like when I was young, I spent like a couple different times in my childhood, I spent like a month or two in Australia. Like my mom would take me out of school and I'd go over there with her for like a couple months. And it's like, I remember like my accent, like I'd say mum instead of mom, think stupid stuff. But I was like 8 once and I was 11 the other time, I think. But it's like my the way I talked changed by being immersed in an English speaking culture with a different
why
accent.
You can do accents so well.
Maybe. But it'd be weird to be like, I don't know which accent is my normal one, because I can be like, hey, how you doing? Or I can be like, oi, do you think that this, whatever. Yeah. When you walked on the moon, right? Was the people there happy to see you or what?
Right.
Borat. Or not Borat, Ali G.
Yeah. I think doing the podcast is, after surgery, you're supposed to keep your hands somewhat elevated. And I'm not.
Yeah, you haven't been doing that. You had your arm in your lap the whole time.
Yeah, and it's like throbbing right now.
You got to get some sling that like attaches to the ceiling that holds your arm up.
I'm pretty sure he's going to take this bandage off and just be like, yeah, we need to do surgery again because you undid all of it. Did you not hear the part about don't use your wrist?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Do you have a Bieber?
Maybe.
Do you want me to go? I can go first. My Bieber's long.
Oh.
Not super long, but like 5 or 10 minutes.
Go for it.
Okay. So my Bieber is basically just the complete lack of common sense that we have become accustomed to from people working at places who have certain rules they have to follow. Okay. So here's my example. My driver's license expired on my birthday, November 28th, 2019. Okay. So I went to I was a little bit late in getting my new driver's license, and I got one of those enhanced licenses, and they gave me a sheet at the DMV saying, here's your temporary license. So here's your old license with the punched card, and here's your temporary license. So show this to anybody until you get your new license in the mail, right? You're familiar with this procedure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after Christmas, we went to Las Vegas, and it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I'm at the casino where we're staying, our hotel is, and we've been gambling at this casino all weekend. But it's like 1 or 2 in the morning, we sit down at the 3-card poker table, and the woman says, can I see your ID? And first of all, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I just turned 47 last month. Like, look at me for a second. Yeah. Have a conversation with me for a second and tell me that you think I'm actually younger than 21
Like, I know,
years
I can
old.
tell you who Walter Mondale is.
Right.
I'm not.
1984.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? And at first she was kind of.
How about I sing the theme song, The Family Ties, Silver Spoons, Different Strokes, and Facts of Life.
She was kind of joking, but then I was like, oh, are you serious? But I guess there's a thing where once you actually say it, you have to actually do it. I had this problem with Costco a few years ago.
Oh yeah, you talked about it.
Once they ask you for it, even if afterwards they realize you're way past 21, they still have to see the license. So I was like, really? Okay, fine. And so
that's interesting because hold on, let me just jump in.
Okay.
Like at the casino,
yeah.
If I'm in the ticket room and someone's ready to leave and they come and they're like, I can't find my ticket. Like, because we give them a ticket when they pull in. Like, here, like it's a fucking intelligence test, Right. Like, here, hey, dipshit, I'm going to give you this thing.
Right.
I want you to hold on to it for a couple hours and then give it back to us.
Right.
And we're going to take your car. We're going to hold on to that for a couple hours.
You get your car back.
We're going to give it back to you.
You get your big piece of tens of thousands of dollars worth of metal back when you give us this little piece of paper.
But it's like people come to the window and they're like, I lost my ticket, Yeah. And it's like, the procedure is, unless I know you, or the valet who ticketed you when you came in goes, "Oh yeah, I remember. You're Kristen. I remember you."
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. But if we don't know who they are and they're like, "I lost my ticket," then technically it's like, all right, I need to look at your driver's license, and I need to match the name on the license to the name on the car registration when I bring it down.
Yeah.
To make sure that you are who
Makes
you say you are.
sense, yes.
And if you're like, well, it's my sister's car, well, then you better fucking find your ticket because I'm not giving it
Or
to
call
you.
your sister. Yeah.
Or tell me what the license plate number is because we wrote that down too.
Right.
You don't know the license plate number? No? Okay, and your sister's not here. It's her car. You can't find your ticket? Go fuck yourself.
Right.
But it's like, you have discretion though.
Yeah.
But it's like you just look at people.
But this
sometimes.
is where, do you have discretion? Can you figure this out on your own? Because that's my problem. This is my Bieber, and I have two examples of this. One is the casino,
Okay.
but it's where they could have easily just gone like, okay, like but they can't.
It's like you're white. It's here. It's fine.
So we just started getting it.
I just
Okay, so anyway, back to my example. So I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, well, I asked for it, so now I need to see it. I'm like, okay. So I pull out my driver's license, hand to her. It's punched because it's expired, right? But it's clearly a real license, and it has my age on it. It says
like the fact that it's
it says I was born November 28th, 1972.
And the fact that it's punched means that it's even more real because it's like the DMV wouldn't have punched a fake ID.
Right.
They would have looked at it and be like, bitch, this is not real.
Right.
The fact that they looked at it and be like, yeah, this is your old license. We're going to punch it to prove it's expired.
Let's go through what would have had to have happened for this to be a fake license.
Right
now. I have punched it myself.
Yeah.
It's absurd. So I hand it to her, and then she looks at it and she's like, I'm going to have to show this to the pit boss because it's expired, And she goes, do you have your paper? And I like, yeah, I do have it. So I pull out my temporary paper license. And when the Washington DMV prints up this paper, it was the actual paper they printed up for me at the DMV.
Yeah.
They say, cut out this part and take it with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I cut out that part. I have it in my license. I'm like, yes, I have it. And now at this point, I'm kind of like, this is okay. It was charming that you wanted my ID, but now it's getting a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. So I hand it to her, and she gives it to the pit boss, and I'm like, here's my player's card too. I have the player's card, which one of your pit bosses made for me yesterday, using my license and my temporary, my expired license and my temporary license. So. There's that too. So I have my player's card too. I've been here all weekend, And so then he's like, all of a sudden he's like scrambling around and he's calling security over. And so the next thing I know, there's some guy coming over with an orange jacket or a yellow jacket. And he's like standing there talking, and they're both talking about it. And I'm like, and so I'm like, I have my passport in the room, but this is ridiculous. Like, I'm clearly over 21 years old,
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person who I'm not going to get mad if I'm at the grocery store and you ask for my license. I'm going to be like, oh, thank you. That's flattering, that you think I'm under 35. Thank you,
Yeah.
But this was like, okay. And so I thought, I'm going to walk over there and just say like, hey, do you want to go get my passport? And but they're going to be like, no, it's cool. If you have your passport, like, it's fine, So I walk over there, and they're just ending their conversation. I have to walk all around because it's the pit, walk all the way around. They're just ending their conversation. And I said, hey, I've got my passport in my room. Do you need it? And he's like, yeah, you're going to have to get your passport. And then I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so just like right here, right next to you right now, you don't think I'm over 21 years old? And he's like, yeah, they looked at it. So they asked for it. You have to prove it now. And I'm like,
why don't you fire the bitch who made my player's card?
Well, yeah, totally. And then I was like, well, I have a player's card and I have the temporary license. It's right here. And he goes, yeah, but it doesn't say this is from the Washington DMV or whatever. And I'm like, I cut out, like, you could see the lines I cut in the thing.
Yeah.
It's like I cut on the lines. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't say. And I'm like, yeah, but it is what it is. Like, it's got a barcode on it. Scan it or whatever you have to do. It's, He's like, yeah, do you have the piece of paper that it was on that it says? I'm like, no, because it said cut out this and take it with you. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna need a passport, And of course, it's a Vegas casino, so it takes 20 minutes to get to your hotel room and back. But it was just like, I was so mad at the lack of common sense of, I'm clearly, this is all a big farce now at this point, but you're gonna make me go through all this and miss the gambling that I want to do and go for 20 minutes and walk to my room and all that stuff,
Yeah.
So that happens and I'm mad. And then I get back, and when I got back, I just kind of like threw my passport down on the table, and then the pit boss kind of walked away. I'm like, no, you asked for it. Come and look at it, And so he came and like looked at it and everything. So then I get back from Vegas and I go to the ATM and I get out $300 in 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to Safeway with these to put them into a cash machine there. And
Why'd you do that? What?
Why is not important.
Okay.
I
know why.
So I have 15.
I know why.
I have 15 $20 bills, and I'm putting them into this cash machine there, and 14 of them. The first 14 go in perfectly. The 15th keeps getting rejected. And so I take it out and I'm like, what the hell? Somebody had like taken Andrew Jackson on the 20.
Yeah.
And they turned him into a black person. Like with
how'd they do that?
With art, with ink. Yeah. But it was actually like incredibly artful. It's a thing I think I've seen before where they turn Andrew Jackson into a black person. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's why it's not taking it. So I go over to the manager. I've got $280 in the cash machine, and then I've got the manager, and I'm like, this transaction is happening. Can you give me another 20 for this? And the manager looks at it and is like, yeah, I can't give you another 20. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, somebody wrote on this. I'm like, okay, but you have like ways of knowing if it's a real bill or not, right? Whether or not somebody wrote on it. Yeah, but it's been defaced. And I'm just like, hold on. So are you saying if I tried to purchase something right now with this $20 bill, if I went through one of these cashier's lines and bought a piece of gum, that they would pull you over and you would say, we can't take this $20 bill? And she's like, yeah. And I'm just like, this has never happened to me before.
Half the bills you get, they have a stamp on it, or somebody wrote on it.
Ridiculous. And so this whole thing like happened, and I could only get $80 of Bitcoin out and all this stuff. And it was just I was so angry. I'm like, because I was like, this is just common sense. This is a $20 bill. It's clearly a $20 bill.
Yeah.
Just give me another 20.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I got this $20 bill out of the ATM at Chase. I went straight back to the ATM and tried to put it in, and the ATM wouldn't take it. The ATM rejected it like 3 or 4 times.
Did you go inside?
No, because they were closed because it was a Sunday. But I went to the bank the next day and was like, you guys gave me this $20 bill. Don't not take it back at an ATM or whatever.
Yeah.
But my whole...
Did they finally take it back?
They took it back at the branch, yeah, right away. But my whole beaver is just the lack of ability to... The lack of people's ability to make any type of common sense decision.
Judgment call, yeah.
Judgment call.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, this person is clearly over 21. This is clearly a $20 bill.
Yeah.
Because their machines do the job for them, right?
Yeah.
The ATM, the machine won't take this $20 bill. So it's not good. It's not a real $20 bill.
Yeah.
Or, hey, we don't know how to look at this and determine that this is a real license and you're over 21.
Yeah.
It was
I've been bitching about this
angry.
forever.
I was like, it's one of the first times like recently where I was really, really angry. Like, come on.
Well, yeah. Like when I see people standing at a crosswalk but not crossing because they don't have a walk signal.
Right.
And I'm like, but the direction you're wanting to walk, the cars have a green light. Mm-hmm. So the cars are all going that way.
Right.
The only reason you don't have a walk signal
is
because you didn't press the button soon enough.
Right.
But you're just standing there waiting for the machine to tell you it's safe.
Right.
And it's like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Just go. Like,
right.
Who gives a shit? What's going to happen? There's no difference between having a walk signal and not having one when it comes to the actual traffic.
Right.
The only difference is you're unable to like do something unless a machine tells you can do it.
Right.
It's like people are fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that was my beeper. I've been holding on to that since late December. But because it was longer.
Yeah.
But it's like it was. I was like, I can't wait to get back.
Yeah.
On the podcast and talk about this ridiculous situation and how fucking stupid people are.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing at the casino where it's like if somebody like you look at them, you just judge it. You judge them. You look at them and you're like, yeah, I'm not giving you this car.
Right.
Or you look at them and you're like, yeah, it's your car.
Right.
Like, okay, so you don't have your ticket? No. Okay, what kind of car is it? It's a black Ford SUV. Okay, do you know the license plate? It starts with AXS52 something.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Right.
Like, I will absolutely take responsibility for giving you this car.
Right.
But if you're like some crackhead,
Or if they're a jerk.
yeah.
Right.
But if
They're an
if you're some fucking idiot and it's like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, how do I know this is your car?
Yeah.
You know, what I'll do a lot of times is because certain people I know they're gonna stiff me just by looking at them. I can just tell from a mile away.
Yeah.
And you know, when they come to the window and say, "Here's my ticket, I'm ready to go," then we get their keys, we give them another ticket, and we say, "Give this to the driver when he brings your car down."
Yeah.
Right. And so if somebody I know is gonna stiff me or they have just stiffed me,
Yeah.
I'll insist on getting that ticket back.
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Do you have that ticket?" And they're like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah, I need that ticket." And I'll just make it as uncomfortable and take as long as possible for them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Give me that. Where's that ticket?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't, you don't have it. I need that. Oh, and I'll just make them as uncomfortable as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
It's a nice power to have.
you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be that. You should self-park
And
your
you're
car.
going to have a restaurant you can do that in
Oh
to
my God.
everybody.
I can't wait.
You'll have no boss over you who's like, don't do that.
Yeah, I can't wait till I can just make people feel horrible.
You got a Bieber?
Yeah, I have a couple, but I'll do a short one because yours was long.
Save your Biebers because you've been having trouble coming up with them.
I know, right? Yeah. People who unnecessarily spell their names for me.
Right.
Like,
Didn't we did this one.
Did I do this one?
Yeah, we did this one where it's like Ron, R-O-N.
And I'm like, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, start over.
It's not R-A-W-N. Are you sure? Ron?
R-A-H-N.
Yeah, we did this one. Okay, so do one of your other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, I didn't know I did that one.
Yeah.
Okay, because that bugs me. Because it's like, how the fuck else do you think it's spelt?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think?
I only know it because we did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's when people it's like unsubstantiated boasting about sexual prowess,
Okay.
and it usually happens in rap songs.
Okay.
And there's a particular Post Malone lyric that sets me off on this.
Yeah.
He's got a song called Candy Paint.
Yeah.
And he's got a line where he says, "I can do things that your man cannot."
Yeah.
And it's like, I wanted, like, if I could interview him like at a press
Like,
conference.
what can you do exactly?
Like what? Like, okay, Austin, I have a question for you.
Is his name Austin?
Yeah, Austin Post. You claimed in Candy Paint to be able to do things that some woman's man can't do. Mm-hmm. What is that? Right. You said things, so there's more than one thing. So I'm assuming there's two or more. What are they?
Yeah.
Because because if you were to sleep with that woman, and you were able to achieve an erection, put your penis inside of her body in some way somewhere, and have an orgasm. Those are all things that her man can do.
Right.
What is it that you can do that he can't do?
Right.
And there's so much boasting in music, especially rap, of like sexual prowess, and it's like, what the fuck do you think you can do? What like, can you? Maybe it's like, oh, I can have sex for 17 hours straight.
Right.
Well, like, okay, no woman wants that.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be just in pain.
No guy wants that either.
No.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do? Like, what is it that you like? Tell me your boasting about your sexual exploits. What are they?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
What can you do? Do you have like a 3-foot long wiener?
Yeah.
No one wants that either.
Right.
And,
right.
and by the way, you don't have that. What is
You'd
it?
be a porn star if you had that.
But no, there's no. Even then, it's like there's no one who has that. No one wants that. It can't work. It's physiologically impossible. So what is it that you can do? I'm assuming your wiener is the same size as most people's wieners.
It doesn't matter what he can do. All that matters is that these women are worshiping him as he's singing and being like, "Oh yeah, I bet you can."
Yeah, but it's like you can't though. It's like there's nothing. It's like there's celebrity sex tapes out there. It's all just sex.
Yeah, like
there's nothing about it. You put your wiener in her inside of her from different positions, and you eventually have an orgasm.
Right, there are definitely
that's
there are
100% of sex is that.
There are definitely degrees of sex being good and being bad, but the difference isn't that extreme, right? It's like you have a guy who's like a 2-pump chump,
Yeah.
right, and it's like, yeah, that sucks,
Yeah.
but the difference between that and a guy that's really good is like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and
It's not some huge like
there's not.
difference.
There's not some spectrum of like there's Michael Jordan,
Right.
and then there's the junior high kid on the the junior varsity team in basketball.
Yeah.
There's not that much of a spectrum, and it's like what. And what are the chances that all the people who are really, really good at sex, who can do things that other men
Are
can't,
singers.
end up being rappers?
Right.
Like what a coincidence!
Right.
It's like no,
It doesn't matter though, because all they care about is getting the women by
Right.
saying these things. Once they've gotten them, they don't care anymore. It's like, I don't care if I didn't perform.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And you can even find like accounts of like women on the internet who are like slept with a bunch of famous guys.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it sucked. He was horrible.
Right.
It was like Colin Farrell or somebody.
Well, the chances are that if you sleep with somebody famous, it's not going to be good, because they've never gotten to a place where they need to actually please somebody.
Right. It's just like they please themselves.
Unless
and
they became famous in like their 50s.
right.
They were just happy. People were happy to be sleeping with them because they were famous.
Right.
Not because they were good at sex.
Exactly. But
Unlike us who are not famous and, are just like slightly above average looking, we have to be really good at sex.
yeah, because it's like we need to we have something to prove.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like it's just so stupid. It's like, what really? Like what? Like oh, let me guess. Your rap song's going to be about how good at sex you are.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Congratulations. Like who believes this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
my Bieber. Yeah. And I thought that was a backup Bieber. So
I
now
know. Yeah.
I think I need a new Bieber for next week.
Yeah. I've got a bunch. I could loan you one.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll rent some from you.
All right, dude. So let's go have dinner at Jack's for your birthday.
Sounds great.
All right. Later.
Bye.